you hear from anybody from MLB regarding the call last night? Triple play?
Nope. Nothing.
Do you think the rules need to be addressed with replay that you can review stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, after experience last night, after going through that, and how it affects the game, I think there's got to be a conversation here, But again, the rules are the rules, and hopefully, if something like this keep happening, maybe they'll revisit and they make some changes.
With McNeil, was there anything you needed to hear just to put him out there, just to feel comfortable knowing that he was capable of making the start tonight?
Not really. And this probably a couple of weeks ago when we approached him when he was in the minor leagues and how excited he was to play in the outfield, in center field, because we seen it in left, right, but when we talked to him, he was all on board and then excited, like I said, and no hesitation. And I thought today was the day to put him out there.
How do you decide between floating Nimmo over to center and putting McNeil on the left as opposed to putting McNeil?
Yeah, I think it's just more of keeping Nemo fresher somehow. I could see him once we get going here, having Nemo play center field. But today, just what he went through in spring training with his knee and all that, I think he's just continued to build him up, even though he's pretty much playing every day and feeling good. But I just wanted to keep him for now in left field. But I could see this changing here, at some point throughout the summer.
There's a lot of infielders who have played in center field or, sometimes play in center field, like McNeil, like Acuna and others. Is there something about, the fundamentals of the infield footwork that translates to center field?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you play in the middle of the field, there's a lot that you have to see, where there's, pitch movement, reading swings, where, guys, the barrel is up front or trying to go the other way, first step, I think there's a little bit of difference, when you talk about routes in the infield, it's more like crossover, when in the outfield you have to clear your hips. But I think it's just in this case, in center field, and with him being so used to playing in the middle of the diamond, might help. So infielder that plays everywhere with good instincts, and he's out there right now.
Did you consider Acuna at second base for the ninth inning last night? Or?
No, I mean, Jeff is a really good defender. I know that ball got by, but Jeff is pretty good out there too. So I didn't.
What's different about Tyler McGill this season?
Tyler McGill, attacking, trusting the stuff in the strike zone, not nibbling as much. And I think he's just experienced, maturing, having success, obviously, and keeping it simple. Whether it's 2-3 pitches against righties, 2-3 pitches max against lefties, and just attacking and just building that confidence, and then finding ways to get through when he gets in trouble. And that's what he's doing now.
With McNeil, just the communication. I know he's played kind of alongside Nimmo, but what's the biggest thing, I guess, getting familiar with Juan out there in right field, just the communication as a center fielder?
Yeah, I think he's, pre-pitch, pre-play, with positioning, whether he's going to be playing towards the gap in right center or away from right field, depending on the hitter. I think it's just the communication prior to the play, hey, I'm over, I'm over this way, And then after that, it's just the pretty basic communication, center field is going to have priority, but just kind of get to know how far he can go before, he can run into it. So, but I think, again, it's the communication that happens before the play.
You said you haven't heard from MLB on that missed call. Would you like to hear from somebody and just have a chance to voice your...
I'm pretty sure I'll talk to Mike Hill here, at some point. But it happened, we just got to move on.
What has Reed Garrett meant to the bullpen this year?
He's a huge part of that bullpen. He's a guy that the way we've been using him, especially coming in with traffic, and his ability to execute pitches, to his ability to have the awareness of the situation and slow the game down. He's been huge. And then, not only that, but multiple innings, whether it's 4 or 5 outs. Last night we used him in high leverage again in the 8th inning, and was pitch efficient, attacking, using all of his pitches. So there's a lot to like about him.
With Edwin Díaz, the other day he mentioned something about a foot being longer than the other. I don't know if you heard that. Have you heard seen something like that from a pitcher before, and like what could be causing something like that?
Yeah, I think it's. I was talking to the trainers, and apparently something that they see it a lot. With players, it's more like the pelvis. And they get treatment and things like that. And that's what happened. I think it happened the day before. I got treatment on it, felt fine, but then he was. I don't know if it was because of the treatment he got the day before. He was cramping up, and that's how he felt. But I think it's talking to the trainers. Apparently something that is pretty common on players.
With Diaz, are you taking the same approach as last season? It seemed like last season you wanted to be really careful not to overuse, and then as we kind of went along here, you unleashed him whenever you needed him.
Yeah, and not only with Diaz. That's ideally we want to do that with pretty much everyone in here. It's still April. Yes, you wanna win every game. But with a lot of them, we're asking a lot out of them. So we're gonna have to protect them at times, especially this early. And we're gonna get to a point where it's go time. And we will do it kind of like what we did last year. And that's probably the reason why he wasn't available yesterday. We decided that after going 2 ups, I don't think we got him 2 ups last year to like May. So and then after that we gave him proper rest. So and we'll do the same with a lot of the guys here.
When it comes to replay and reviews, how much is too much and how much is like just enough to keep things accountable? I think not everything being reviewable is sort of the argument because it's going to take too long or, you don't want to ruin the human element of the game. How much is too much, and should we be more open to adopting more?
Yeah, I think you're always open for anything, right? Especially with so much technology nowadays. And like I said, with a play that has so much impact on the game, you're talking about a triple play. It's first and second, nobody out. Before you know it, on one pitch, they're out of the inning. So I think there's got to be some type of consideration without taking the human element and things like that. But again, hopefully situations like this will help moving forward for better decision making, if you want to call it.
Carlos, there's a report you guys are bringing back Brooks Raley. Can you talk about when you think he might be able to help you?
Yeah, I can't talk about it, because it's not official.
All right.